Thank you, Dr. Alvarez. I'm Amelia Manning, and I am the Career and College Admissions Specialist at Maine West High School. I'm very excited to be talking with you tonight and three of our fantastic students at Maine West. You'll get to hear about different experiences at Maine West from Carlos, who is a sophomore, from Lexi, who is a junior, and from Latrice, who is a senior. So I'm going to start off with my first question, just asking you all to introduce yourselves for us, please. Let us know your year in school, your extracurricular involvement, and maybe just what you love about Maine West. So let's start with Latrice, our senior.
Hi, I'm Latrice, and like Miss Manning said, I'm a senior at Maine West. And some things I'm involved in at Maine West is marching band. Specifically, I'm in the drum line. I'm also in Ascend Leaders with Mr. Hassman, Link Crew Commissioner for Mr. Aldworth, and a lot of other things, but I'm not going to go way into it. So what I love about Maine West is that like our diversity, like compared to like other schools, like there's just like so many different like cultures and like just ethnicities here that we get to like see everyone else's like culture, I guess, like I said, and see how everyone else like does certain things and certain traditions.
That's great. Latrice, Lexi, do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience?
Okay, hi guys, my name is Lexi Blackwood. I am a junior here at Maine West, and some things I'm involved in is an organization called SOAR, which stands for Students Organized Against Racism. I am in Link Crew, Ascend, Varsity Club, Class Council, a lot of other things, and I was a varsity cheerleader here at Maine West. And what I love most about Maine West is probably the energy and the events, because anytime you go to an event at Maine West, you're never disappointed by the energy, anything. I can guarantee you any football game, any event where you're getting to participate in like any game, it's so hyped and I love it.
Oh, that's awesome, Lexi. Thank you. Carlos, would you take us away and introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi, I'm Carlos. I'm the sophomore. Some things I do at Maine West is I'm in cross country, track and field, mock trial, deck up, high school compliant, and of course ascend. The thing I like about most about Maine West is the students, because we have such a large body of students from, like, as Latrice said, a large diversity that you're guaranteed to meet someone every year. And so, like, and befriending people comes in really handy, especially if they're upperclassmen, because like they can drive you to places, say you have to go somewhere, or like they can give you answers to homework. That's what I like about Maine West. Thank you.
That's great. Those are such good points. So thank you all for introducing yourselves. My first, question for you really digging in here is about obstacles that you might have faced as a freshman. Would one of you please, just share with us an obstacle that you faced as a freshman at Maine West and how did you overcome it?
I think I'll take that one. Okay, so as a freshman at Maine West, I was really scared to join anything like clubs, sports, activities. I was really scared because I didn't know a lot of people. I knew upperclassmen would be there. Anything with the word upperclassmen really scared me because I didn't know anybody. I didn't want to be judged or anything. And another thing was everyone would go around, they'd be like, oh, finals. I'm like, what are finals? And they're like, oh, it's this big test at the end of the semester from each class. And I'm just so stressed and worried, and it was very hard to think about until I like went to my teachers individually and they like completely explained like what are finals and how it's going to go, and it was so much better because they help you study, they help you do anything that you need to do.
Thank you, Lexi, for sharing that with us. I guess, kind of on a similar note, would one of you please share a piece of advice that you have for freshmen?
All right, I think I got this one. So personally, as a senior, piece of advice I have for a freshman is make a schedule. Like, not just don't look at just your school schedule. Make a schedule for everything you do, like in your personal life as well. Like, I felt like that's what helped me out the most is like it's like just being very organized with the schedule. Like, I'm like, all right, I'll wake up at this time, brush my teeth at this time, dress up at this time, and then like you go to school, you control like the things that like you can control, and you and like you put in your schedule like things you can't control, obviously. Like school, obviously school is from like around 8:20 to like 3 o'clock ish. So you can't really control what time school actually is. So you just gotta make sure like you do school then, and then like after school you're like, all right, maybe for this amount of time or this time I'll do my homework, or maybe this time I'll just take a nap. You never know, but like making a schedule for yourself in general is also just a nice way to organize yourself, especially during this time.
Great advice, Latrice. Thank you. How about, if you could do freshman year all over again, start from the very beginning, what would you do differently, kind of knowing what you know now?
I'll take this one. Oh my gosh. One thing is probably sports. Sports, sports, sports. I wanted to join sports so bad, but I was so scared for no reason at all. I wanted to join, it was cheer or gymnastics, I think, but I did end up joining sophomore year. But I was so scared. And towards the end of the year, I did end up like joining 2 or 3 clubs, I think. But sports, I really would love to go back and join a sport if I could for freshman year. So try and get involved and join a sport. Trust me, it will help.
Okay, thanks, Lexi. My next question here, our incoming eighth graders, incoming freshmen are going to be picking out their courses for next year fairly soon. What would you say to students as they're thinking about selecting their courses for next year?
I got this. So as you know, I was just a freshman last year, and honestly, I would say like just pick the best for you. I recommend like to take the accelerator courses, but like even if you can't handle that, you should still try because if you succeed, you can boost your grade up and everything. I mean, and even if you don't, it's fine. You still have 4 years to decide every single class you're gonna take. So you can honestly replace like the accelerator course with like electives. You have so many options like culinary, robotics, engineering, and photo, and so many others that I wish I could take personally. But I will definitely do that in the future. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Carlos. And, on that note, we talked about grades a little bit. When does your GPA really begin? Why is it important? Would one of you like to tell us that in your own words?
All right, so I got this. Your GPA, or your grade point average, it literally begins kind of once you walk in. Once you walk in, well, we can't really walk into school now, but once you walk in, it's kind of when it starts. After your first semester of freshman year, when you get your first grades, it's actually kind of when it starts, and you kind of see like how you're just doing in all your classes. And it's just it's really important because this is probably something that colleges look at mostly. Not mostly, but it's one of the most important aspects they look at for a person and as a student. So yeah, that's why GPA, it's really important once you walk into the school.
Thanks, Latrice. Great perspective there, especially as a senior. What would one of you say, are your teachers approachable? How do you recommend asking for help? How do you usually ask for help?
I got this. I would say if you'd like to contact your teachers, you should definitely email them, since especially for this times. Emails have been like the main way I've contacted my teachers this year if I need any help. But before that, I would just like walk into the classroom when they're not busy, of course. I would just talk to them. And some things might respond right away, but and some others they take forever. But if you do, just do it at a time that's best for all of you. I would recommend school hours. And some teachers are actually really approachable. Like they actually seek you out if they want to help you out. And yeah.
Great. Thanks, Carlos, for that advice. So we talked a little bit about extracurriculars towards the beginning. Why would you say, someone should choose to be involved in sports, clubs, any other activities at Maine West? Would one of you like to answer that?
All right, so it's so like, okay, the reason like I chose to like be in like this activities and sports and clubs I want to be in is because it's just like something you might love doing in the future. Like I like tested the waters with like Ascend and Link Crew, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it because they were kind of new to the school. So I was just like, you know what? If we don't like it, we can obviously just leave and just be like, it's not for me. But in the end, I actually did love it, and I did it for the next like 2 to 3 years of my high school career that I had left. And it's just you have like that feeling of like other people around you, like being involved in another sport or activity or club. It just feels like you're kind of like loved by everyone else in there, and it feels like a little bit of a family, and it feels just very nice to be surrounded by people who are also like in the same like boat as you, with these same like maybe like you're in like culinary club or like cooking club, and you're around people and like the same interests as you, and maybe there's more to just like cooking you guys like to do, like maybe you guys have other interests that you guys could like just make more friends.
Thank you, Latrice. That was just so beautifully said. And as you would know with your college applications now, those extracurricular activities are also very, very helpful when it comes to filling out your applications and getting ready for your next step, even after high school. But of course, extracurricular activities take up time. And so time management always becomes a question too. What would you guys say? Is it hard to balance your homework with all of the activities that you're in? How many activities would you recommend that a student get involved with?
Okay, the only time that I would say like balancing sports and clubs and different homework assignments would be like it become a problem if you don't manage your time properly. And people who procrastinate often find themselves in a hole that they cannot get out of because they sit there and they don't manage their time. Managing your time is probably A1, and it's so important freshman year because freshman year is what starts you off, and it helps you guide throughout the years to know, oh, well, if I do this next year, I'll know how to manage my time properly again because I've done it freshman year or again after sophomore year. And if you're going to be in a sport, I would say choose one each like season, because if you were to do two, then that would be very hard to balance. You can do little clubs in between the sports because your coaches are very flexible, and they try and like they can go around like, oh, you can be here for 30 minutes and then come to practice. So I would say join like 2 or 3 clubs while you're in a sport, and then have an off season, whether it's fall, winter, or spring, so you can like rest your mind from sports.
Thanks, Lexi. That's such good advice. So that concludes our questions for our panel. And thank you so much, Latrice, Lexi, Carlos. You guys provided some really great information for our incoming freshmen. And to our incoming freshmen and their families, thank you so much for watching this panel. And we will see you next year. Take care.